So here's something that you shouldn't miss here at the SABC. The ANC NEC is meeting this weekend to discuss the step-aside resolution which has affected the party's Secretary-General, Ace Magashule. Magashule, who is currently suspended, also wrote a letter suspending the ANC President, Cyril Ramaphosa. So let's now cross live to Samkele Maseko, who is having Ntebo Mokobo as well, our colleague of SABC News, to have an exclusive, only on SABC News, an interview with Mr. Magashule. Samkele, over to you.
Indeed, the African National Congress has had quite a hectic week this week. Suspensions are flying left, right and center. Others, they say constitutional. Others, they say unconstitutional, with no endorsement of any structure, whether it be the NEC, the NWC. I'm with my colleague Ntebo Mokobo, my partner in crime in many things. Ntebo, you've got this one.
Don't commit crime, guys.
Well, SG, you are the suspended suspendee. What does your suspension stand at this point in time as the African National Congress?
Well, in the ANC there are processes, and once you appeal, which I've done long time ago, the appeal stays.
What do you mean you've appealed, SG? Are you meaning that since your appeal has been sent to the African National Congress, you are no longer suspended and you can perform your functions as the SG?
Well, that's what people were thinking, because the 30 days and they don't even ask you, and when you are suspended, you are not just suspended, there are processes which one will argue once we appear before whatever appeal body, because the National Executive itself has been conflicted in this matter. There have been the judges, the prosecutor, the jury, the evidence presenters, because you can't factionalize the resolutions of the National Conference and you want to usurp what branches actually said in Nasrec. And I think you also as journalists, you are missing, I think, do your work, read Resolution 1 under fighting crime and corruption, read 1 up to 9 or up to 10 basically. Because there you'll actually know that there is a Bill of Rights, there is the Constitution of the country, the laws of the land, the Constitution of the ANC, presumption of innocence until proven otherwise. Read all those things and processes which are supposed to be happening. And I've heard people saying, this is what Comrade Nkoloa Kgalema have said, this is what President Beki and Zuma have said. People are speculating, and I had wonderful meetings with those people, with those leaders, the four of them. So I don't want to discuss what they said, because what is in the papers is not what they have actually said. We have discussed issues and we are more political. And I was happy with everybody, because there was this rumor that I wouldn't see Comrade Kgalema, Comrade Mbeki. It was wonderful to meet those presidents of the ANC.
But Secretary-General, as the Secretary-General of the ANC, now suspended, and of course the custodian of the ANC policies and resolutions, have you raised your concern with the top 6 officials and in fact within the National Executive Committee?
I've raised them. I've said don't factionalize the resolutions of the ANC, because those resolutions cannot be changed by the NEC, because the NEC is supposed to implement conference resolutions. You can't just be charged like there is a kangaroo court here. You are not given a chance. You don't even know the charges. It's just a charge that you have actually been charged. When the officials, the top 6 of the ANC, have agreed, that's what the public doesn't know, that these charges are frivolous, they are flimsy. You can see that, and the officials of the ANC in our meeting even wanted to go to a court of law. I mean, when I was appearing, and I said, President, it will be wrong for a president and a deputy president to go there. So Comrade Jesse and Comrade Paul were supposed to go to court. And I think Comrade National Chair raised the matter that there is a resolution which the National Executive Committee has taken, that if you go there, you go as individuals. And we collectively agreed that let's not send wrong signals out there. And any member, any individual has a right to go to the case. And we have seen members of the ANC there, not just only as individuals. You have seen community members. You have seen structures of the ANC, REC members, PEC members, regional branch executive committee members throughout the country.
SG, out of the 4 former leaders of the ANC that you met, Matthew Sposa, the former TG, former President Zuma, former President Mbeki, former Deputy President Kgalema Motlanthe, what did they tell you? Did any one of them tell you not to step aside, or did they tell you to heed what the ANC is saying and step aside within 30 days?
No, you want me to discuss, because I've not consulted the people I've actually engaged on as to whether I must say this is what this one have said, but I've actually confided in the officials of the ANC what they have actually said, and I can say this to the National Executive Committee because that's where I have to report, and I'm happy with what they have actually said to me. Resolve also political issues politically.
So essentially they never told you to step aside, or they told you to step aside and you defied them?
I've never, and I will never defy those leaders, because I believe that those are people who really understand the African National Congress.
But SG, you are not charged by the ANC, so then the ANC can't be a judge, a jury, and a prosecutor at the same time. You are charged in a court of law, and of course the ANC resolution says those who are charged must just step aside. So it's not a charge then.
No, you see, that's where I say, read the resolution. Those who are charged, those who have allegations against them, those who are reported, those who have accused, please read the resolution so that South Africans must understand that I have been, and I've been in the ANC for many years. I hear this one, some of them who have joined the ANC speaking so much, and they actually try to say we don't understand the ANC. And unfortunately, conference elect anybody, anytime.
So SG, are you saying to us that the National Executive Committee of the ANC took the NASREC resolution of the 10 points that are there on those who are facing allegations and those that are charged should step aside, and only focused on one point and decided to discard the NASREC resolution and just took their own resolution that those who are charged must step aside? Are you saying that resolution is unconstitutional?
Let me tell you, one of the elders I've seen says to me, tell me, why are you in a rush to implement this decision when there are many resolutions of the land, the Reserve Bank, the issue of Israel, radical economic transformation? Because people are even arguing that we have never taken a resolution which says radical economic transformation. It is there in our resolution. And I think in one meeting, the past NEC meeting, one of the comrades was reminded, specifically Comrade Zizi, that he even responded to Rupert in 2018 on the issue of radical economic transformation. We can give you, if you are doing your work, you will actually pick up, because the conference was in 2017, Zizi responded in 2018 and said and emphasized the fact of the conference resolution which talks about radical economic transformation. Now people want to change it and call it a radical socio-economic transformation. There is a resolution on white monopoly capital. South Africa presently benefit white people, male. 3 families are owning 60% of the GDP of South Africa. Our black people, our black business, should we stop talking about such things? No. Principal leaders will remain true to the resolutions taken by the highest decision-making body. And the National Executive Committee is not the highest decision-making body. The conference of the ANC is the highest. One contradiction which I have written a letter I will actually make it public to the ANC, because I said, one of the things you said the structures must actually make an input to the step aside. You have not consolidated the input of structures. You have not, the provinces have actually said no to step aside. Gauteng, Free State have said so. KZN has actually requested to meet with the top 6. When the president was there a week ago, they requested, they wrote to me, they want a meeting. The National Executive Committee is refusing.
Are you saying to us, SG, that the NEC is not listening to the structures of the organization and making unilateral decisions without consulting structure? Are you saying to us that this step-aside resolution, branches of the ANC weren't actually consulted?
Are the inputs of branches, of regions, of membership, entire PECs, because there are PECs who have pronounced themselves. The Women's League has pronounced itself. Yeah?
When did the Women's League pronounce itself, SG?
Oh, you are the media. I'm sure Comrade Miyoko, the Secretary-General of the Women's League, has been out there in the public. Gauteng has been there. Limpopo has been there. Free State has been there. I think a lot of provinces have actually discussed this matter. So branches of the ANC have written many letters in terms of this. And it's not in my nature to talk about internal matters of the African National Congress. But I think because the public thinks that this is Magashule doesn't care. No, I care for this movement. I have fought for freedom. I have fought for a constitution. I have fought for the Bill of Rights. And I won't allow anybody, it doesn't matter. Look at people whose money, people have been getting money from individuals right into their accounts and all that. Nobody is charged because they control and they influence the organs of state like NPA.
SG, you are literally saying to us right now that as a custodian of the ANC, as the SGO, which all of these reports are supposed to come to you, you as the SGO with the DSG Jesu Duarte may have perhaps failed to consolidate these reports alongside the entire top 6 and the NEC, and thus you may be taking resolutions without caring minds of what the branches are saying.
No, we have been consolidating the reports.
But you just said that you didn't consolidate.
When you go to the meeting, people just say we have taken a decision in March, in February, that anyone who has been charged must step aside. People are not looking at the reports of the Integrity Committee one by one. This is what the Integrity Committee have said about David Masondo. David Masondo appealed when? Last year? Are there such processes? Are there no timelines when you do all these things? I mean, you are there to see for yourselves. People want to say, no, you are charged 255, that's what I hear in the media, 255 million asbestos. I was not there in the asbestos fee. The HOD have actually said, right in Zondo Commission, that the Gauteng started with asbestos, billions of rents, and they took the Gauteng fee and in terms of whatever section in the Constitution. Now, how does Magashule come into that fee? We have been writing to the NPA. They said they will give us charges in February, 2 weeks when we appeared. We have been writing to them, I think we have written 2, 3, 4 letters to say give us the charges. And we intend going to court to say NPA is not actually doing what they have actually promised us publicly, that they want a speedy trial.
SG, are you trying to tell us that this resolution was clearly and carefully couched to deal with you?
Of the NEC. Let me show you, you as journalist. And I still believe in, and all of us believe those, you are innocent until proven otherwise. When you have factions, you think NPA is not factionalized? You think the prosecution is not factionalized? You remember, Comrade Mabuya Kulu. How many years was Mabuya Kulu charged? You know Comrade Zandile. For how long was Comrade Zandile charged? No step aside, no step aside. Magasuhle is charged with fabricated charges, with something called oversight. If I was supposed to do oversight, it means I was also supposed to do oversight on Shandoka, which has actually having irregular expenditures raised by the Auditor General. Do you want me to give you the Auditor General's report? And Shandoka happened before I became Premier. There was no rent for rent, as people want to say. And 2-3 weeks ago, the MEC of Finance was actually instructed by the Executive Council of the Free State to condone 700 million irregular expenditure. Read the Auditor General's reports. Don't take these things from the streets. I was Premier, I know what was happening there. And from 2012-13, I have been saying this matter, because we advised several times, and I've been saying, Department of Education, you must deal with what the Auditor General is raising.
SG, are you now casting aspersions against the president who owns and was a shareholder, majority shareholder of Shandoka, that he did not stick to his words of 1 rand for 1 rand with Kagiso Media at the Kagiso Trust at the time?
Let's go to the Free State. When you use public money, you put it out for procurement. You can't procure anything. You can't use public money when you have not actually done so.
SG, you then raise a point of Zandile Kumete and Michael Mabuya Khulu. I put it to you, SG, that is not true, because Zandile Kumete had stepped aside. Michael Mabuya Khulu had stepped aside after he was told by the NEC, all of them, to step aside. Denim Caesar had stepped aside for 2 years. So I'm trying to get, where do you say that there is a selective approach on this issue of step aside?
Step aside, and did they come back? What made them to come back? If you then say step aside, and then you come back and you say step aside, and then now they must step aside again.
Mike Mabuya Khulu had step aside now.
So Mike Mabuya Khulu, the resolution says step aside voluntarily.
And how do you compare, the Secretary-General of the governing party with the chairperson, the deputy chairperson of the province?
No, I don't want to compare. We are individuals. All of us South Africans, we have rights, and we are innocent until proven guilty. I'm not comparing myself with anybody. From branch level, we as individual South Africans, we are accorded same rights by the constitution of the country, as well as the constitution of the ANC, which must never ever contradict the conditions and the constitution of South Africa.
Why did you fail to step aside, SG?
Because I've not done anything wrong. And there are no processes which have been followed. And I was elected by members of the ANC at conference.
Why did you suspend President Cyril Ramaphosa without support of the structures of the ANC and the NEC and NWC?
Read the resolutions of NASREC in terms of all those roles which I have to play.
Which constitutional power did you have to suspend the president?
Read the resolutions. That's why I say you guys don't want to read. Don't be lazy to read.
But SG, there's a resolution of the NEC that all of those who are charged must step aside within 30 days. Are you saying to us that that resolution of the ANC is against what NASREC resolved on and was designed to remove you?
Of course, it is designed to remove me. Because if you say Magashule must step aside, you know how many names we have collected from all the provinces. And it's Magashule and Bongo who must step aside.
But you are charged.
Can't you read from there? No. There are many comrades in each and every province who are charged. You take a decision and you select Magashule and Bongo.
So, but why, okay, you were suspended and you decided to suspend the president. What informs the suspension of the president? What did he do?
Leave it for internally. The National Executive Committee is sitting.
Are you attending that National Executive Committee over the weekend?
I'm the Secretary-General of the ANC. I've appealed whatever illegal processes.
Were you locked out of Luthuli House on Wednesday evening?
No. I've never been to Luthuli House since COVID.
Are you going to
SG,
attend?
that is not true. You can't say you've not been to Luthuli House since COVID. You've
I've
had
been-
numerous briefings
I've
at
been
Luthuli
going
House.
there for press conferences.
Are you going to attend the officials meeting tomorrow morning
Yeah.
before the NEC?
Yes. Why not? I'm Secretary-General. You guys don't want to accept that I've appealed.
Okay, no, we accept that you've appealed.
So what?
You met with former President Mbeki and former President Motlanthe. What were you hoping to achieve? Because
Why don't you talk about former President Zuma?
Well, I'm coming
nephew
there.
Posa?
It's a context of
Okay.
the question. I mean, I'm talking about former President Mbeki and former President Motlanthe because they are former leaders of the ANC who said at some point the ANC veered off. And all those things happened under President Zuma, who happened to be very close to you. And
I was very close to President Mbeki.
okay.
I was very close to Comrade
Kgalema.
Kgalema.
Yes.
I was very close to Mandela. I was close to Zuma. I've been close to the presidents of the ANC because since the unbanning of the ANC, I have served as a member of the National Executive Committee.
But
I
this-
understand the ANC
Yes.
far better.
Yes, but these are leaders.
Are you saying you understand the ANC far better than those who are in power right
Those
now?
ones who make a lot of noise, I do.
But these are leaders who say the ANC veered off under President Zuma, who happened to be very close to you. And of course, the secretariat of the ANC now, it's a bit
And
disastrous.
they were there. Were
Yes.
they there?
No, I'm saying,
No, I say when they say President Zuma as an individual, the ANC has never blamed any individual. We work as a collective. People now want to say Zuma did this, Zuma's years were this and that and that. I can tell you, during our years, I hear people say in the Free State, corruption, what, municipalities. Go and check. When I was premier, you guys don't report these things. I had 5 consecutive audits outcome, and which were clean audits in terms of my department. We have changed as a province a lot of departments in terms of clean audit, in terms of qualification, unqualified. We have actually worked and changed a lot of municipalities. Go and see service delivery. Go and see 23 townships since my term. Go and see the conditions of streets in the 23 towns of the Free State for 10 years.
SG, the president's addressing the ANC caucus yesterday said that he was dismayed at your letter of suspension, which he received on Wednesday evening at 10 o'clock, and says it's null and void and holds no water. What's your view?
I was dismayed to receive a letter from the Deputy Secretary-General. I was so dismayed and disappointed.
What did you tell the top 6 then on Sunday evening when you met?
We discussed, and I briefed them about the report of my consultation with the presidents and former leaders of the ANC.
I want to take you back, SG, because I want to state this thing chronologically. You met them on Sunday. You received a letter of suspension on Monday from the DSG, Jesu Duarte. Was your alleged suspension of the president without the endorsement of structures a firing shot back at the president for having you been
My
suspended?
letter came before.
But
You
he
don't-
says he received it on Wednesday.
When did I receive the letter of Jesse Duarte? Dated the 3rd.
When did you receive it?
Dated the 3rd.
When did you receive it?
On the 3rd. I received it on the 5th.
But you just said on the 3rd.
No, I'm saying the letter is dated the 3rd.
Hmm.
I was the first to write the letter on the 3rd. And I gave my guys in the envelope, and I took the thing, and I said, my guys, you must deliver this letter. The envelope is there, it's my evidence.
so
Jesse Duarte also wrote the letter on the 3rd, and that letter reached me on the 5th.
How's the working relationship between you and your deputy?
It has been wonderful. I have worked with Comrade Jesse. We have been in trenches together. I don't know her yesterday. And I think our relationship has been wonderful. And people have been trying to factionalize because you can't actually make me do wrong things. You can't make me take powers of a branch and give powers of a branch to a province. I think in the past the ANC was not run properly.
So-
I have arrived and I say the basic unit, the branch runs itself. The branch has its own conference. It is not the region or the province We dictate how a branch must be run.
Are you saying Gwede Mantashe didn't run the ANC properly as the SG?
I'm saying when the ANC was factionalized before Nasrec, these things were actually happening.
But Gwede Mantashe was the SG.
I'm not talking about Gwede Mantashe. I'm saying the ANC was not run properly.
So you write in the letter before the Deputy Secretary-General, were you preemptive, maybe knowing that you will be suspended?
I was doing my work.
And maybe going back to the question that I asked about.
It's because other people have actually appealed. Bongo has appealed. These letters come to me. People go and say, these ones have not appealed and what have you. I deal with correspondence. I wrote back to Bongo. I acknowledged the letter.
Okay. Maybe going back to the question that I asked earlier about the meeting with former presidents. The question is, what were you hoping to achieve out of those engagements? Especially the two leaders.
Because I was going to tell them about the position and the stance I was going to take and check with them whether it is the right thing to do or not the right thing to do. Because I was not going for them to tell me what I should actually do. In the ANC we discuss. And I only do what is right for the ANC. And I align myself with the resolutions taken by the highest decision-making body. Please go so that you don't lie to the public. Read the 10 points under fighting crime and corruption. And tell me after you have read them that I am actually misquoting conference resolutions. I have been and I will remain a disciplined member of the African National Congress. And I can tell you, I will die in the ANC. Nobody will actually take me out in the ANC. The ANC for the first time banishes people. Under apartheid, they say stay at home, don't talk to anybody, don't address this. It's a banishment order, man. You can't do this thing in a democratic South Africa. So I'm still fine, I'm healthy, I feel like a fish in the river, I'm still jumping like a tennis ball, I have no headache, I have no pain, because I know, my conscience know, that I have not taken a cent. I have not taken a cent of government of the people of South Africa. The ANC is not an organization of leaders. It's an organization, it's a movement of the people. And I can assure you, let's wait for the processes of the ANC to take place. But I am not the one who's going to form another party, as people say. And people say, Magashule has no support, Magashule. I interact with people, I interact with the ground, I interact with branches, I interact with society in general. I am first and foremost believe in radical economic transformation. I am not against whites. The majority of South Africans who are black, Africans in particular, that line I won't change. I won't change the resolutions of the ANC to work with Cuba. I won't change the ANC resolutions to work with Russia, to work with India, to work with Brazil. And people are afraid when Russia provides 64 countries with their COVID vaccine. South Africa can't do it with the efficiency of 97% cheaper than any other way. And you guys make us not see that all these things are becoming ideological.
SG, you may be expelled from the ANC this weekend. There's a push by your detractors in the NEC for your expulsion, especially for what they term the unconstitutional letter to the president suspending him.
You see, my problem with you as journalist, you know this person got money from so and so. You see it in their account. They say, yes, we have received money. And you don't ask Comrade Zweli. Comrade Zweli, when you were Treasurer General, did you authorize Zizi to raise money? And Zizi says, I paid some of the employees. Logic, man. And you guys are so quiet because I think you are captured.
SG.
You are captured.
SG, the
you
question...
don't probe. You only probe because you want Magashule to go, you want Zuma to go. And that's why people are banning us. Yeah? Judiciary is biased. Not all judges. Yeah? And you want us to say the organs of state are not biased? I'm being followed. I am monitored 24/7. Comrade Joe Maswanga will tell you there was a car following us yesterday and we were ready for that car. I know I am monitored, I'm backed 24/7, my movement, and I can't live as if I'm still living under apartheid. They want to jail us, and one day you are in a police cell, you are poisoned. These are some of the things we're talking about with President Zuma. Because then they will release you. After 3-4 months, you are dead.
SG, have you raised these issues with President Ramaphosa?
Yeah. I've raised these matters with the leadership of the top 6. I'm saying I feel the pain because the leadership top 6 says these charges are flimsy, frivolous. What should I say?
How's your relationship with President Ramaphosa?
My relationship, I've always respected the leadership of the ANC. I've always worked as part of the collective. I know and understand the African National Congress. You can't tell me that I don't understand the African nation. I'm a simple, humble leader of the ANC. You guys don't know me as the media. Go to the ground, go to the masses, go to the churches, go anywhere. And that's why I'm not worried, because the media is powerful and it wants to destroy us. I am not a product of the media. I'm a product of struggle of our communities. I'm a product of black consciousness when the ANC was actually banned. I'm a product of those who have actually worked with Winnie Mandela, with Kresani, with Peter Mugabe. I'm that product. I was there in the struggle, and I don't claim. And I don't want to claim, because the struggle was about the people. And this movement is the people's movement. And I will never, listen to me, I will never go anywhere. I'm going to die in the African National Congress. The African National Congress is not about a cut. So give me my legal rights, my organizational rights, enshrined in the Constitution of the ANC, the Constitution of the country, the Bill of Rights. I do respect, Comrade President.
SG, those who were asked to step aside, there are reasons advanced for them to step aside. And in your case...
Have they stepped aside?
Yes, some of
them. Do
you
know how many people are there?
Yes, some
Do you
of
know
them.
how many are there? Province by province. You know how even the premier of Northwest, the charges are open against 5 MECs, opened by the legislature and government for how many months, of billions of rands. Where is NPA? Money got into the bank account by a guy called Bam. He has come to you guys, into the account of the premier of Eastern Cape. This guy called Bam. This guy called Bam wrote to the top 6 one letter to every one of us and say, I've opened a case with the Hawks. I'm now coming to you. These are the FNB deposit slips. Here they are. There were 3 municipalities which paid me, Bam, without doing work. And immediately they paid me in 30 minutes. I transferred this amount of money to the account of the premier of Eastern Cape. And nothing happens. The premier, I hear him on radio, because he's a friend to the leadership which is factional. I can't allow this. I will die for the truth. I will die for what is actually right.
Okay, let's narrow it down, SG.
Have you followed that story? Can you follow it? Do you want me to give, if you don't have documents, you want to give me to give you Mabuyani's account?
You can give Mabuyani's account.
You don't have it? You don't have this information? It has been there, Mail and Guardian. It has been there, City Press or whatever. The guy is around here. He's running around because he will be killed.
SG, okay.
The guy has met me initially when he was reporting this case. The guy went to Lituli and met me and the Deputy Secretary-General. And we said, okay, you have reported the matter, is okay. Came to the officials. I took the correspondence to the officials because the guy wrote to each and every one of us with deposit slips.
Are you saying
what else? What else should the Hawks? Why are the Hawks not acting?
SG, are you saying to us that the leadership of the ANC is protecting those who are in close proximity to the President Cyril Ramaphosa and to Gwede Mantashe, the national chairperson?
You know how many cases are there which are legit? Decide, man. Give the public the information. I'm giving the public this information because it is out there in the public. I won't reveal the information and the secrets of the African National Congress. I am not that type of a leader.
So are you essentially speaking out now because you are under siege politically in the ANC?
No, I thought the ANC will never factionalize these things. This Besani talks about go to St. Lake, where Besani was paid 38 million. And Besani was actually supposed to have been charged during Zuma's time because SARS and the Hawks were aware of that case, and that case is still on. He's not charged because he's part of the faction. It's not a story which now I'm angry, I must reveal. But if the public, because you are feeding the public one side of the story, I'm now telling you, I'll give you these things, I'll give you documents about the Shandoga. Go and get documents. Through Bahia you can get all these things. People have tried everything. People have tried everything to say, is Magashule facilitated money for students? The top 100 of the Free State every year, who gives them money? Different companies. Who gives them laptops? Vodacom. What does Shandoga do? It gives them something. Who facilitated all these things? It's us, because all those things, all that money, even ourselves. I was contributing 1,000 every month with our MECs and some of the mayors and the private sector.
SG,
go to my accounts.
SG, are you accusing the president of the ANC and the president of the country and his former company, which he says is disinvested from Shandoga, of corruption?
I say, when you talk about companies, when you talk about whatever company which has been there in the Free State, please, man, treat everything the same. When you pick up Auditor General irregular expenditure, please take this. And I know a lot of journalists, because they came to me and I did not want to talk about this. And they said, our editor say, this story can't come. We should not write about this story. It once appeared in City Press. When it was supposed to be in page 1, it appears in page 8.
Mr. Magashule, are you trying to say the ANC it's corrupt? I mean, it's rotten to the core.
I'm saying
and protecting criminals, the top 6 officials.
I'm saying the ANC is acting in an unfair measure. If we have committed any crime, because I can tell you, I have not committed any crime. I'm being charged with oversight. What is that? Okay. Negligence?
Okay, let's focus
on... Is there any such charge in terms of the criminal law?
Okay.
And I know, they know that this one is not the case they are going to win. I know, and I will show you when I appear in court. I'm waiting for the right time, and I'm happy and I want this case to continue, because I'm going to surprise you with witnesses who were actually forced to implicate me, right? And those witnesses, some of them refused and they were charged.
SG, on this
and
issue,
fortunately some of them have won their cases.
Why are you saying the ANC is factionalized? Are you literally saying that there is a dominant faction within the African National Congress that is suppressing contrary views?
In the ANC I have been with, in the underground, after the unbanning, the National Executive Committee has never voted. And that's why I say, there is a crisis. Because the leaders of the National Executive Committee, when views are there, In the ANC, we persuade one another. I've never chaired a meeting of the ANC in the Free State since 1991 until I left. I've never chaired a meeting where people vote. Let's vote. The National Executive Committee of the ANC, because they count numbers. Of course, the so-called CR faction is dominant in the NEC, but we have never ever had the National Executive Committee of the ANC saying, let's vote, comrades, on this matter. Let's vote, comrades. Can't you see that the soul and the ANC character is being changed? And I won't go down, comrade, as part of those who want to change the character of the ANC, the people's movement. It's not the organization of leaders.
So you're saying the ANC and the top 6 officials, including the National Executive Committee, is captured?
I'm just saying to you, for the first time the ANC says we are happy. We can work with the DA. Ideologically, the DA is the enemy of the revolution. No, you can vote with the DA. And I say, no, not me. Me, Secretary-General. I'm supposed to protect. And I said to those in Parliament who were against the voting with the DA, you are doing the right thing in terms of the ideology, because the ANC politics are informed by ideology. It's not this administrative thing I actually see.
Are you saying that the current NEC does not persuade one another, but votes take place?
People say, let's vote. And people use their power to say, we summarize. No, it has never happened in the ANC. You know, President Zuma, President Bek will say, let's discuss this matter. Comrades, let's leave it. We'll see it next week. It looks like we have differences. Let's go and try and persuade one another. We'll meet again next time. This one is an NEC of special meetings. Let's call a meeting next week. We give you 7 days, Comrade Ace, to resign. 7 days. The people who are giving me 7 days are the people who have received in their accounts money.
From who?
Our it has come out in the Zondo Commission.
CR17 statements?
Comrade Tony has been saying, let's discuss CR17 statements. Let's discuss. Tony has written 7 letters pleading with the National Executive Committee. In every NWC, Comrade Tony, in every NEC, I won't be surprised even tomorrow, he will raise this matter.
Do you hate President Ramaphosa?
The ANC puts it aside.
Do you hate President Ramaphosa?
Why will I hate President Ramaphosa when I and Zweli Mkhize and David Mabuza and Sihle and Comrade Nomvola, we brought him in 2012. When everybody said, workers, Communist Party said, no, we.
His faction is showing you flames today.
I'm not part of any faction, because you believe that I was with Zuma faction and therefore I don't fluctuate. I remain principled. I respect all presidents. You guys try to project me in a particular way out there in the public. The people of South Africa know who I am. They know me better. And I'm not worried what the media puts now and then, repeat it and 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 repeat it. Like they said when the DG of the Free State appeared before Zondo, there was nothing there, and they say DG put Magashule under the bus. Is the paper. They will repeat it, but I don't care. I'm with humility. I'm here, I'm fine, I'm strong. I have no flu, I'm jumping.
SG,
I feel like a fish in the river.
SG, there are regional and provincial conferences coming up. Those who've been suspended and those who've stepped aside, are they eligible to stand in those regional conferences? If they are not eligible, is this a ploy to install a particular perspective aligned to the dominant faction in all of these regional and provincial conferences going to the 55th National Conference? They are allowed
to participate. I've written letters to the likes of Zandile, because even the integrity in KZN said, we can see the politics here. And that's why Zandile is still there.
Has she stepped aside?
No, she hasn't. And she said she won't step aside until certain processes. She has also appealed.
Has she been suspended?
Suspended by who? For what? She's not suspended. That's why I say, but you guys, I don't know what you are talking about.
Danim Caesar in Limpopo, he had stepped aside with Florence Razelani for 2 years. Has he stepped aside?
He hasn't. Because Danim Caesar even gave us a legal opinion. He has not stepped aside. Florence has not stepped aside.
SG.
Andile has not stepped aside. In Parliament, EFF throw water to ANC members and others. They do the same. They fight in Parliament. Andile, in Nelson Mandela Metro, does the same with a judge. There's a charge. The man is condemned for life. In representing the ANC, because the politics of the ANC and the opposition in the legislature, those things are happening. People have been grabbing each other, hey, but this is how Andile. Where is justice in this country?
When has Parliament ever descended into chaos where the EFF and the ANC brought it out?
What happened?
When has Parliament ever descended into chaos where the EFF and the ANC fight it out? I've never seen such.
Haven't you seen it?
I've seen it in legislatures.
Haven't you seen people in Parliament fighting, EFF throwing bottles and all that, fighting physically with security and all that?
You said with ANC MPs.
No, I'm saying, haven't you seen?
Okay, let's move forward. SG, you've made serious allegations against him, the sitting president, the president of the ANC.
No, I'm not making anything.
Okay.
You guys wants to put words in my mouth.
But
I'm saying the ANC leadership never votes. It works.
Okay.
It persuades, and we discuss.
But that's an indictment on the president, SG. That's an indictment on the president.
Maybe it will discuss it.
Okay. You say it's different now. The ANC is different now. So
the character of the ANC is changing.
And we
can't implement a resolution of the ANC on the issue of Palestine. We can't implement the resolution of the ANC to work with Russia. We are afraid to work with Russia openly. We are afraid to work with China openly. We are afraid. We allow branches to sit. They call meetings of 200 people, 250. The National Executive Committee doesn't want a physical meeting. It's COVID. But in those branches, we are there, we go. If my branch has a BGM and a BGGM, I go. Do you think I'm not a member of the branch? And there, when I go there, I'm not afraid of COVID. People go to churches. Leadership of the ANC go to these people in churches who are more than, we are not 200 as the National Executive Committee.
And you say,
and the National Executive Committee of the ANC, which met last time, said this time we must meet physical. So, why is that? I hear people saying we are implementing the decisions of the National Executive Committee. Why is this decision of the National Executive Committee, which resolved last time that we must meet physically, why is it not happening tomorrow?
Okay. So you're saying all this are happening under this president?
There are inconsistencies.
Yes. I agree with you, SG. I'm saying, so you're saying all this are happening under this president, and you reckon this is the worst president?
No. I'm saying the inconsistencies and the character of the ANC changing. The ANC which wants to tell us that a black person, the Africans who are in majority in South Africa, when they say radical economic transformation, I have never seen such a country in the world where indigenous people of the country are not the owners of the economy. 60% of South African economy is in the hands, the GDP, in the hands of 3 white families. What are you saying, you guys, as black African people? Am I lying? What am I saying? Am I saying something which doesn't make sense? It's a resolution of the African National Congress. I will die for it because I'm principled. You can't buy me with money. Throughout my years, nobody has bought me with any cent.
The ANC Secretary-General limping from one crisis into another over the past few years or so, how would you want to be remembered as the Secretary-General of the ANC following the 54th National Congress?
I want to be remembered as a principal leader, as a leader, the custodian who must ensure that the resolutions of the National Conference are implemented, and where there are difficulties, we must actually do so. You don't just say there are difficulties. We have never discussed all these resolutions. We have never said here and here and here. And today is the DA which says remove Magashule. We can only work with the reformists in the ANC because there are meetings with DA and the DA, let's work with the DA. I will never work with the enemy. The DA ideologically is the enemy of the revolution, and I will continue saying to those comrades, and this has been inconsistent. When the ANC members in Mangaung, Bloemfontein municipality removed the mayor and they supported by ANC members, the DA moved a motion, and ANC members, some of them, not all, moved and voted with the DA to remove the mayor of the ANC. No action against those ANC members. In Dihlabeng, in Velko, in Bethlehem, the DA with 8 people, ANC with 23. They move for a speaker. The speaker in that Dihlabeng municipality in Bethlehem, out of 8 councillors of the DA, 23 ANC members. It has been reported to us all the time. They vote with the DA. There is no action. So you're going to see in Northwest is West. Because Northwest are now saying, oh, in Parliament, there is nothing wrong to vote with the DA. So the character of the ANC is changing. And we as leadership of the National Executive Committee, I thought we'll realize that the ANC is facing challenges. I am part of the collective. I believe in the collective. But there are people who are entrenched in factionalism. And there is nothing I can do, but we have been too disciplined. Some of the comrades said to me, you are exercising primitive discipline because you don't want to talk the truth to power. And I'm saying to you, I'm not talking about issues which affect the ANC and which will actually deal with the ANC image, because that's not me. I'm just telling you about things which you guys are deliberately, even when they are reported, your editors say, don't put it there, don't put it there, don't put it there.
Have you spoken to President Cyril Ramaphosa after you were suspended by the DSG and after you allegedly suspended him?
No, unfortunately, we haven't spoken.
Why not?
Have you asked President Ramaphosa that question?
We haven't
Why
had the
are you
opportunity.
asking me that question?
We haven't had the opportunity. We'll ask him definitely when I see him.
Okay. No, we haven't. I'm giving you a response. No, we haven't talked.
Are you going to contest him at the 55th National Conference as president?
I never had any ambition. In 2012, they wanted me, the provinces, to be the deputy president. I jumped, said Comrades ready, we jumped, and we said, let's remain in provinces. We had the most wonderful opportunity to have actually occupied that position. My ambition has been to work with our community, change the lives of our people. I'm happy whatever I've done. I've changed the lives of the Free Staters when I was premier. I am in this country, I've changed the lives of other people, not me, the African National Congress, using me as a messenger and servant. Because there are people who think that they are ANC. I'm not ANC. I'm part of the collective. The ANC is the movement of the people of South Africa, blacks in general, Africans in particular, and white Democrats.
So you're not contesting presidency?
Non-racialism.
You're not contesting presidency next year?
Why will I contest? It's branches which nominates me. It's not me. I hate people who say, me, I want to be president. Me, I want to be this and that and that. Let the branches of the African National Congress, at the right time when they nominate, they actually make sure that you are elected. Then you'll raise your hand and say, I have been nominated, I accept the nomination. That's the ANC I know. I now see the ANC of leaders who say, me, me, and me. I see people selling government houses and say, I don't want to stay in a state house. And you ask them, this chap who was actually, and I was a teacher. I worked for paralegal firms. I earned salary over, more than 25 years. There are these people who just came and they have everything. They were not involved in bed, but they have everything. And they now start saying, I'm not going to stay in the house of government. I sell it, I have my house. Because the person has amassed their wealth unlawfully so.
Thank you very much, SG. That was Elias Robela Magashule, the SG of the ANC, with explosive information.
No, there's nothing explosive.
Saying the NEC now votes, saying Shanduka has benefited and not put 1 rand to 1 rand as they said in the Free State. Besadi benefiting, head of the presidency, he says, saying the NEC is factionalized, and the topping, the icing on the cake, he says there's a dominant faction led by CR17. Pretty much reminds you of the roadmap towards Nasrec.
No, in
Which
summary, I'm saying
faction?
the ANC has been factionalized, the resolution of the ANC are factionalized, they're this dominant people who think that they are ANC. The ANC is the people's movement, and I will never allow any individual to take the ANC from me, even though it's a voluntary organization. We joined it together. I am waiting for whatever processes to unfold because I've appealed. And if needs be, I'm saying to the branches of the ANC throughout the country, relax. I am Secretary-General of the African National Congress.
You said it's a matter of 5 years in 2018 in Moses Mapita region in Pietermaritzburg.
No.
Where are you today in 5 years? Suspended.
No, 5 years is 5 years. The leadership is elected for 5 years. I was elected by conference. Let's wait and see.
Are you going to be re-elected at the 55th National Congress?
How do I know? I'm not branches in South Africa. I'm just saying to our branches, remain resolute, continue defending the African National Congress, don't leave the ANC, continue with radical economic transformation, continue wherever you are to implement the resolution of Nasrec.
But the NEC says people must not align themselves to this RET faction which was supposedly operating at your office.
RET faction, who are those factions operating from my office? Because Carl Nihas, I was given Carl Nihas by the leadership of the ANC.
By who?
You guys don't know these things, man. Wait and see.
By
Go
who
and
in the
ask
leadership?
Comrade Carl.
You can just whisper. By who in the leadership?
I can't. It's ANC internal matters. You think I just employed Carl Nihas? I arrived Secretary-General, I employ Carl Nihas. No, man, please. And this comrade, you want to make him something else. This man has been a hardcore ANC member. He has gone to prison when it was not fashionable. He has gone to exile. He was marginalized by the white community as an Afrikaner. He was an ambassador. He was the spokesperson of the ANC during Mandela time. Here, Comrade Carl Nihas talking there, you feel that the voice of the African National Congress, you know, is out there. Don't you feel it?
But SG,
But
but SG, the current leadership, in fact, the current ANC leadership now, it's all about accusation and counter-accusation. Have you learned anything from one former ANC president, Oliver Tambo, who used to say, when there are crises, you need to close ranks? Have you learned anything from?
Are we closing ranks?
I'm asking.
If people are so deeply entrenched in factionalism, hatred, enmity, should I still remain positive that I can change this young man who joined the ANC yesterday because he thinks otherwise? He just thinks about money.
And as the current crop, how would it be judged? As the people who allow the ANC to die in their hands?
Unfortunately, we'll be blamed as a collective. I will also be blamed as a Secretary-General. I won't be the first to be removed. President Zuma gone, Kombegi gone. Go to our history. But I'm saying, comrades, I'm not going anywhere, man.
Do you expect to be expelled this weekend by the NEC?
How does the NEC, which becomes a judge, a jury, prosecutor, investigator, what? The National Executive Committee just expelled? Are there no legal processes? Should I watch and see and say, thank you, I'm disciplined, comrades, bye-bye, I'm leaving? I've consulted regions, I've consulted branches, I've consulted provinces, I've consulted churches, I've consulted. And people say, I must not go and address a funeral, I must not go and address the hour. I can't be banned. In South Africa, there is democracy I have fought for.
Are you legally going to contest the NEC?
I should have done it, Mos, if I wanted to do so. I'm a disciplined member. I exhaust internal processes of the African National Congress. I know in the Free State, Comrade Oli is already going to court to challenge this decision.
Did you
because one region or branch or whatever actually said go. And she said, but what is this?
I went to your region, Fezile Dabi in Paris,
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. A young man who is a provincial secretary of the Youth League said, and also the deputy coordinator of that region, said that they would interdict the NEC should it suspend you. Have you spoken to them about that?
I always speak to these members in my province. I know people say, Magashule has lost support in the Free State, in the country. I say, well, this, you know, when you lie, and I don't need support of anybody. I don't need anybody's support. I'm fighting for justice. I'm fighting for what the ANC stands for. I can't say no, I can't prevent comrades, but I've always told my region, my branch, my province, I see people addressing people and you don't show us the people they are addressing. I see them saying, hey, the Free State says this, please man, hey, South Africa says this, please.
Paseka Nompondo said you and Sam Mashinini should not act on behalf of the PEC and contest the Supreme Court judgment that the PEC should be dissolved.
No, let me not talk about Paseka Nompondo, my provincial secretary, because you know that Paseka Nompondo was...
All right, we've been bringing you an exclusive interview with the suspended ANC Secretary-General, Magashule. He remains defiant, saying, relax, I'm still the Secretary-General of the party. He said much more, and we'll bring you analysis, some clips from that interview with our journalists, and lots more, talking about leadership in South Africa a little bit later on. Let's start with the headlines. You're with the full view on SABC News.